Okay, let's jump in. Today we're doing a deep dive into Psalm 4,
Right?
and it starts right in the thick of it, doesn't it? You immediately get this sense of someone feeling trapped, hemmed in.
Yeah, absolutely. The
Mm.
first verses are this raw cry, like, answer me when I call, a plea for mercy, for relief from
It
distress.
really captures that feeling,
Right.
being cornered and just needing help.
But what's interesting almost immediately is how it shifts.
Hmm.
It doesn't just stay with that internal feeling.
No, it turns outwards, right?
Exactly. It starts addressing others, asking, how long, like, how long will you people turn my glory into shame? How long will you chase after illusions, seek false gods?
It's quite a confrontation.
It really is. It highlights this tension, doesn't it, between the psalmist's own like internal struggle and what he sees happening around him, this confusing, almost hostile behavior,
Yeah, the external sort of reflecting the internal mess, maybe.
or maybe adding to it.
Hmm.
And right in the middle of that noise, that pain, you get this powerful declaration
Ah, yes. Know that the Lord has set apart the godly.
for himself. The Lord will hear when I call to him. And it's stated as fact, not I hope he hears, but he will hear.
That's a real anchor, isn't it? Like planting your feet amidst the chaos.
Totally. And that sense of certainty, that foundation, it then leads to this very specific instruction.
Right. The focus shifts back inwards again, but differently.
Yeah, it's like, okay, knowing God hears you, how should you respond? And the text says, in your anger, do not sin.
Which is profound. It acknowledges the anger.
It does. It doesn't say don't be angry. It says, when you are angry, don't let it lead to sin. And then it adds, when you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent.
That second part is fascinating, the quiet self-examination.
Mm-hmm. Deliberate searching of your own heart, and then stillness, especially in that private space, lying in bed. There's that word Selah right after.
Yeah, the pause, like really let that sink in.
Exactly. Take a breath here.
Search your hearts and be silent. I mean, that feels incredibly relevant for today, doesn't it? Resisting that impulse to just react.
Absolutely. But it's not just passive silence. It's paired with action.
Ah, right. Offer right sacrifices and trust in the Lord.
So it connects that inner work, the heart searching, the silence, with, outward acts of devotion and reliance on God.
And then the psalm acknowledges something else, that kind of universal feeling.
Yeah, the question many people ask, who can show us any good? You hear that longing, right? People looking around, wanting something genuinely positive.
We all feel that sometimes. Where's the good?
But the psalmist doesn't join that search party exactly. Instead, the prayer is, let the light of your face shine upon us, O Lord.
And this is where it gets really countercultural, I think.
How so?
Well, it doesn't point to external things as the source of good. It actually says, you have filled my heart with greater joy.
Then when their grain and new wine abound.
Yeah.
That's the key comparison.
Exactly. The joy from God's presence, that light of his face, is presented as fundamentally better, deeper than material wealth, like a huge harvest.
It really challenges where we typically look for happiness, doesn't it?
Totally.
And it's not dismissing the good things like grain and wine, but it's saying there's a source of joy that's, well, more resilient. It doesn't depend on the harvest being good.
It ties back to not chasing those delusions mentioned earlier, finding substance elsewhere.
Precisely. And all of this culminates in the final verses.
Ah, the ending. After all the distress, the challenge, the trust, the self-examination,
And redefining joy.
it lands on this image of just deep peace. I will lie down and sleep in peace.
For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. It's remarkable.
It is. The peace isn't because the problems vanished externally necessarily.
No, the peace comes from that relationship, from dwelling securely in God. It's the end point of the journey in this psalm, from crying out in a tight spot to finding this profound rest and safety.
So, yeah, Psalm 4 really walks us through it. Distress, facing external challenges, finding internal certainty, examining the heart, redefining joy, and finally, finding peace.
A peace explicitly linked to God alone as a source of safety.
It definitely makes you think about our own searches, for relief, for joy, for security.
Where do we look?
So maybe the thought to leave with is this: reflecting on that contrast the psalm draws, seeking good externally versus the joy and safety it says comes from God alone. Where does your heart actually find its deepest rest? Where do you feel truly safe? Something to ponder.